Is poop a pain in your grass? Call Mr. Pooper Scooper, a professional dog waste business. They pick up and haul away all waste and will also disinfect cement and decks where the waste was removed. All waste is then turned into renewable energy. For cleaner yards and happier pets, go to mrpooperscooper.ca. What's going on, all you beauts and beauties? Welcome to the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast, brought to you by GL Heritage Brewery, the official beer of Hat Trick Hockey. I am your host, Brett Hedges, joined by the creator of the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast, Anthony Gaudette. It's a 2025 edition of HTH. Welcome.
Yes.
We made it. Very
First
good.
one, stick taps. Holy shit.
Yeah, episode 181. Take a look at the merch that Ant's got there. You like that old school HTH logo? Take a look at our description and click the merchandise link for all of your merch needs. You never know, you might see it in a random class photo somewhere on
Yes.
HTH hat,
Yeah.
right?
For that beaut or beauty in your life.
I love that retro logo as well. Of course, you guys can follow us on social media, personal and show, Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah, whatever. Hit us up.
all that stuff. You know that. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to a long overdue show. There were some personal things that happened, like
Yes.
Anthony had to move a whole house and everything,
Yeah.
and then we had
Yeah.
Christmas and everything, and we have
Yep.
families and such. So
Yep.
appreciate the patience on the break, but we are here, we're back, and we're excited about 2025. What do you say, Ant? What was the Christmas break like for you? I mean, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
Well, first of all, for all of our, followers, fans, listeners, 2025 is going to be very busy for us. So we're going to hammer out as much content as possible. That is the goal. We're already
Yep.
kind of trying to figure it out. Tristan, I believe his school schedule slows down a little bit, so he's going to be able to be on here with us more. He's doing some family stuff, I believe, right now because it is New Year's
Yeah.
Day that we are recording. So,
Yeah, we had an hour
um,
and we're saying, hey, let's go talk for a
yeah.
bit.
But as everybody can tell, I did move. I want to give a big
This
shout
is
out.
not the basement no more.
Yeah, this is not the basement anymore. I do have like my own little office now. Meg Removers, bro. These guys, four guys came to my house.
Yep.
They did a incredible job with everything. We just had to have everything packed up. They came in. I had a freaking thing loaded, a bin. They came with a big truck. I mean, they took down our beds, set them up at the new house, took down I mean, anything. They're just said, anything you need, just tell us. And
Perfect.
I was just bam, bam, bam. I mean, took my like kids like trampoline down. I mean, these
Well,
guys
these guys are
are
pros,
they're
right?
top notch, dude. And there's four of them. They came in, and I bet you from out of the old house to into this one was maybe 4 hours.
That's amazing.
So they were crispy, these guys. So
Peace of
yeah,
mind.
so shout out to them. Four guys, mag removers. I'm telling you right now, I hope I'm saying that too right. I hope I'm saying that right. So I
Okay.
apologize if I'm not. It's spelled Magri
Okay.
movers. If you need the number to them, reach out to us. They're probably going to be a sponsor soon. Hint, hint. So
Yeah, we'll get those
yeah.
details ironed out.
Yeah, so big shout out to them though. They did an incredible job. But yeah, so we're here, dude.
You know what they say, if you're over 30, hire movers. No one in their
Yes.
30s wants a slip disc over some beer and
Yes.
pizza.
Yes, dude. Like fuck
No
that.
headache.
Dude, it was the best money I ever spent in this whole
I'm sure your
whole
wife was very
process.
happy she didn't have to move a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and guess what? Nothing got broke either. So nothing
Hey,
got
that and
broke.
that's the
Walls
thing.
didn't
Peace
get
of mind.
dinged.
That's what I
I
mean.
wasn't swearing the whole time. It was perfect.
Yeah, your father-in-law doesn't have to get his Allen keys out to help you take things down,
Yeah,
right? That's what I mean, right? That's
that's
the
what's going to
benefit of
happen.
having a moving company like that. So
Mhm,
huge,
mhm.
eventually
Well
I'm
done.
hopefully gonna move myself. If Glenn Ray has his way, it would be tomorrow. But
Yeah.
eventually we would like to move, to a different spot if the family grows, that kind of
Okay,
thing.
so
So
are you guys looking to do you guys want to stay in the city or do you guys want to get out of the city?
we're open to all things. I just kind of like I like where I live right now. Like I like the size of the house that I have, like when we bought it, right? But like feel like we're gonna outgrow it sooner rather than later. So that's why we've had our eyes on the market for the last 2 years.
Hmm.
Just keeping an eye on things, but nothing that was worth, even like pursuing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you were in the real estate game for
I
a while. It's all about hunting, right?
yeah. Then
And
and the
you know,
crazy
I
thing
wasn't
is,
expecting I wasn't expecting you to make a move on a house until you said, "Hey, bang, I did it." Because you know we'd been talking about you moving for a year, so
yeah,
like
yeah. But it was
didn't
all
it
about like finding that perfect house too, where
yeah,
this one kind of it suited all of our needs. Like our garage is huge, that's everybody's gonna end up seeing soon. Like we're putting a sim in this and that. So like you're gonna see a lot of content flying out of that garage too. But I
well,
wanted it to where I had a space to kind of do this out of the house if needed.
yeah.
But it still had to have enough room for Steph to park her van as well. So, but yeah, I don't know. We figured it
Do
out.
you want to give a shout out to your real estate agent for helping you out?
Eric Standell, actually, I do. I was actually thinking that. Eric Standell did an incredible job. As everybody knows, he is a sponsor of our show.
Whoop
But
whoop.
I mean, like we say in his ad, the number 99 is in his number for a reason. I literally
The
we didn't
great one, Eric
yeah, we
Standell.
didn't have to do shit, bro. He took care of I mean, the moving bin like took care of it all for us. Like just any kind of call, anything that we had to deal with, any kind of paperwork that we needed, lawyers, this, that. Mind you, Steph did a lot of shit too, like
Of course.
contacting lawyers, this and that. But Eric like
Shout out to
lined everything.
Steph.
Yeah. So
But
between
Eric,
those
yeah.
two were incredible. Like they did a great job. They got us in here. The transition was very smooth. Everything went on time the way it was supposed to. Everything Eric just made it super easy. It was not stressful. Well, it was for a little bit. Like there was a point in time
Moving
where
is
like
always stressful.
but there was a point in time where we owned two houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, I don't really like this that much. But then like our Eric just like, relax, man, relax. We'll take, and then sure enough, our house sold. I don't even think it was a week.
Yeah, I think it
So
was less than 10 days, right?
yeah, definitely less than 10 days. So yeah, man, shout out to Eric too. Incredible job. Would obviously recommend him to anybody as well. So hit him up.
Excellent. The great one.
The great one, and the
Perfect.
great one in real estate. And he's trust me. You just tell him what you want, your range, how much you want to spend, this and that. He'll take care of you. He's the best.
And you know, you and I have, you know, we're old enough that we've heard stories from people about buying houses and like the horror stories about like the
Yeah.
rigmarole that goes around and the
Mhm.
last minute stuff they have to deal with because they don't have an experienced
Yeah,
agent,
there
right?
was a few houses too that we looked at that we were kind of like, and Eric's like, you know what, guys, honestly, I don't like it for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
And
mean?
and
Like,
you
I
know
don't
what?
like
And a
this.
pro will tell you that he doesn't want to waste your time.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He's like, well, I have this one, and he would show me, and it was like the photos and stuff. He's like, if you want to look at it, you can, but he's like, honestly, I don't think it suits all your needs. So, but he's like that. He's very honest. He's very upfront, and I think that's why he does so well. So,
For sure, and especially when you're dealing with this will be my last thing on it, and especially when you're dealing with families too, they have
mhm,
to like the space that they want to buy has to fit a lot of parameters, right?
exactly.
And a lot of not to say like cheap or like not as good salesmen or not salesmen or real estate agents, right, or whatever lenders, whoever it is. Some people they just want to make a sale and they'll just sell you the first house that they see, like
Hmm.
right, and
Yeah.
instead of and like a real pro will work with you
No, yeah.
find the exact
Yeah,
like
he
the best
wants
house
you
that
in a house that suits your needs.
yeah,
So
100%. You
top
know what
notch.
would suit my needs?
Getting into some hockey.
If
Hold
the
on.
world if Team Canada could
What did
actually
you do over the holidays though? We always
oh
you
I did
always ask me, what did you do?
it's all about it's not about me, baby. It's all about you, dog.
No, dog, what'd you
Just kidding.
do?
I had a great time with the family. Family was good. My son was sick going right up to Christmas, so we didn't know if we were going to be able to go to, family stuff,
Yeah.
but he was good during the whole thing. Mornings when you're a year and a half old can be a little tough, especially when you like to wake up at 5 in the morning, but
Oh,
he's doing good so far. So if I look tired, that's the reason because I have a 1 year old and a five
dad
year old.
mode.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when the day starts on at 6:15
Yeah.
every
Oh
day,
yeah.
both
Oh
of them
yeah.
are up, it's hey, let's have some pancakes and it's like 6:20, the pancake batter's going, dog. Like
That's funny.
yeah, but it's good. I love it. Everyone's doing great. We had a fun, happy Christmas. I'm really happy. We did obviously like with the with people that know that they have kids, like you obviously you give them the gifts that they have and stuff, but my
Mhm.
wife got them this really big, like this fun like Bluey like play set,
Yeah.
right? For people that know, Bluey's a TV show
Yeah.
for kids.
Trust me, it's always on here.
It's the best. It's honestly it's a funny show. I love
Yeah.
it. So I don't mind watching it. And she's like, "Oh, like let's give sorry, let's give the kid this let's give the kids this big one, after we give them all their presents on Christmas Day." And I said, talk to her, I was like, "Hey, like this is a pretty like big one. Like I don't want you to like all the other ones kind of get swept to the side. But if we sweep this guy in at the last minute and say, hey, like remember everything you just opened? Like forget all about that. Like let's play with
Yeah.
this." So I convinced her that like, hey, let's save the big toy for like a few days later for when like all the family parties and stuff are done.
Yeah.
And what we did was we hid it. It's like it was a big box, big toy box, or whatever. And I hid it in the corner of the toy room, but I surrounded it with like some stuffed animals and stuff.
Oh,
And so it was like on the 27th or 28th or whatever, we're hanging out, and they were getting a little stir crazy because it was raining and everything. And I told my daughter to go get one of the big bears because they like to go wrestling. They like to wrestle with it, right?
yeah.
Like, drop elbows on it, put it in
Yeah.
chokeholds, give it
Ric
the
Flair
Cooper
style.
cross face. Yeah, exactly. And so that was the thing that was, blocking the Bluey playset. And like kind of just like the natural reaction of like my wife like looking, seeing what they're doing. She's like, oh, she pulled the bear away. And like, oh, she notices what's
He
going
looks
on.
like,
Like, what's going on with this black? And my son, he follows my daughter around all the time. She's 5 and she's the coolest thing in the world to him. And she finds this Bluey playset, and she goes, Luke, do you want to play with? Because I told him to go in there to go find the big
yeah.
thing to go play, but really we're trying to get them to go find that. And she's like, Luke, do you want to go play with that? And he starts laughing. He goes, yeah, huh? Like, you know what I mean? Just like a
Yeah.
little boy cat, like, and it was just so pure. And it was just like one of those things that you're like, oh, okay, like that's kind of like what Christmas is really all about. Like
Oh,
just like
yeah.
especially when you have a young family, like it's really hectic, especially like seeing all the family because like you want to see all your family and you want to get all those things in because you haven't seen, maybe some aunts and uncles in
Mhm.
in a year and you want to go see them, right? But like with family and especially when you have young kids, sometimes
Yeah.
they wear themselves out in the morning and then they're not really good to go in the afternoon. So it's like it can be hectic, especially, say if you've been up since 5:30 in the morning. So it was good.
Yeah.
The family parties all turned out really well. It was good to see people that I hadn't seen in a while, see my grandma and everything. So it went really, really well. And New
And you
Year's
were
Eve was
with Mark and Ryan for a bit too, right? Yeah.
yes, that was at my dad's
You guys. Did
my
you
dad's side of the
know?
family, the Frail family. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Uncle Mark and Ryan Prail. So
Just so
yeah,
you
and
guys know, if
and
you
Ryan
see
asked me
Mark,
about if I
if you
see
see
Mark.
Mark, he's got your name tattooed on his ass. Bet him.
True story.
Bet him.
But
Mark's a
I
beauty.
guess
I
you
love
should
those
you should
guys.
blame Mark Prail for this me being the host of your show now because he's
Well,
the one that called me in to be a spare, right?
I wouldn't say it was a blame though. It was
No,
a blessing in disguise.
that's right for
That
sure
was just us
because
drawing you in here. That's all it was. It was us
because
just
on obviously we had chatted and stuff, but you and I have been on opposite shifts for years, right? So like we saw each other for a little bit when we were in the body shop. We were always on opposite shifts. So like
Mhm.
the last time you and I had a conversation face to face had probably been 10 years.
Yeah.
And so when I showed up in the room that day, I was like, I don't know, I haven't talked to this guy in a long time. And like Mark asked me to come play. And then I showed up in the parking lot and you were already in
Getting
the lot.
crispy.
Yeah, and you're like, "Hey." I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like,
It's
and
crazy
then
how it starts, man. And that's
that's
all it
right.
needs.
That's
Bam.
that's right. Sometimes all it
Mhm.
takes is a little spark.
Mhm.
Little Uncle Mark spark.
Yeah.
True. Okay. So besides all the hockey stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, besides all the family stuff, thank you. People do appreciate us talking about that. So,
For
and it's
for
fun to talk
everybody,
about.
yeah. That's
Um,
let's get to it. What do we got?
yeah,
Juniors, World Juniors.
World Juniors, Team Canada is underperforming. to like to
Um,
a certain degree. Like they're gonna move on to the medal rounds and stuff, but to say that Latvia beating them was a shock is an understatement. They lost two big points there, and then they just got outplayed by Team USA, 4-1. Got crunched basically. I kept
outplayed.
flipping back
Fuck.
between I kept flipping back between that game and college football playoff game, and I kept going back and be like, oh, there's Canada getting outplayed again. Oh, there's Canada getting outchased for the puck. Oh,
Oh,
there's Canada getting out hit.
oh,
Oh, there's Canada getting cleared out in the front of the net.
there's
Oh, there's
Canada going to the
Canada
fucking
getting,
box again.
yeah. Oh,
Eight
yeah. And
times.
every time,
8 times. 8 times where what? 2 to 3 goals were on the power play. Thanks, Easton Cowan. Keep the change there. US is loving that.
and it
Listen,
was 1-0 forever.
it was 1-1 in the third period, dude.
Yes.
And then with this train to the penalty box started. Easton Cowan is on it 7 times it seemed like. Like every time he turned around, he was going to the penalty box for something.
Yeah.
When are we gonna stop taking stupid penalties? And guess who's at home right or who is at home sitting on their couch smiling, probably laughing about that? Michael Misa, Liam Greentree. Because guess what? Those guys, I don't care what anybody says, should still be there. Who was the other one too?
Well, they cut Zane Perek too, the
Yes.
CHL
Yes,
Defenseman of the Year,
he was the other one. This guy just won a Mem Cup and was like a huge piece in it.
top 10 pick in the NHL
That's
draft.
what I mean. And this guy's not on Team Canada. What the hell are we doing here? Like,
Question
look at us.
marks for me,
Oh,
from me.
we're
There's no
lacking
logic.
freaking scoring, so let's leave out the one of the top scorers in the OHL off Team Canada because
Two of them.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like it just makes no sense to me. And guys, score a goal in the fucking shootout, guys. Holy crow. How long can this goalie hold us in it? Like
Yeah, that guy
if it's not for him, are we even making how even though we probably shouldn't have right now with a loss to Latvia, lots to the US. Like if that Latvia loss wasn't in overtime or a
So we
shootout or
got one
better,
point. We got one
but
point in the
that's what I
Latvia game.
mean. Would we be out without that point?
I
They
couldn't.
lost that game outright. It might be close.
It would have been closer, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, like just get your shit. To me, this is second life. And if they don't get their shit together, we're gonna see one more game, and that's gonna be it.
Yep. Well, yeah. If Latvia had won outright, it would have
Mhm.
given them 3 points. They got 2 points for beating Germany,
Yeah.
so that would have been five, and Canada would have only gotten. Well, they beat Germany, they beat Finland. That's 6 points, and then overtime twice, so that's eight. Or does it just 2 points? 1 second. I'm sorry. This is great radio.
No, but still though, it's like
I keep getting it confused with other things.
the like US game just it was just in a nutshell, it was just undisciplined. Like
Yeah.
just stupid penalty after stupid penalty, man. Like half of those shouldn't even happen. Like skate by, elbow in the head, like an obvious trip. Like it's just stupid stuff like that, man.
Yeah, Canada finished with 7 points in the round robin. US finishes first with 3-0-1 record. They lost in overtime to Finland.
Hmm.
So the US has 10 points. Finland's in second place with 8 points, 2-1-0-1, with one OT win and one OT loss, or one shootout loss, or whatever it was. Anyway,
Hmm.
Canada has 7 points at 2-0-1-1. So they lost in overtime to Latvia, and they lost outright to uh, the
US.
United States. Sorry. So yeah, so Latvia. So if Latvia had gotten those two extra points, Canada gets one less point. Yeah, Latvia would have been in.
That's what I mean. Like, look how close that was. In by this, I don't want to
In
say
by
it.
the hair, they're chinny chin
I was
chin.
gonna say hair on your nutsack, but whatever. But I'm just saying though, but they're barely in, dude.
Yeah.
Barely. Barely. If they
Yeah.
I'm
So
telling you right now, they better and who do they play now? Czechia?
they are going to play Czechia
Czechs.
on January 2nd at
Hey.
7:30.
And who knocked out Canada last year?
I believe it was Czechia.
There you go. So
So
Canada, get your fucking shit together. Pardon
yeah,
my
they got to
French,
they
even
got to
though I
rally
swore
for
7
sure.
times.
They got to rally for sure. The home ice. They got to get. Obviously it's a good crowd. It's a Canadian crowd. The U.S. just beat them up and down the ice in every facet of the game, and
Every
they just got to flush it and go back. They just got to go in through the back door now,
did
right?
you
They got to go
see
in as the lower seed. So
did you see the Iserman goal?
no, I would lie to you if I
He
said I did.
he shot it through a hole. I'm telling you, as I hold my pen up there. Sound what? He shot it through a hole. I'm telling you, it was barely big enough for the puck, and the goalie, I believe it was Georgian net,
Yeah,
never even seen it.
yeah, that's
Two
special.
two of the well, one was an empty netter, so two of the three that he let up, I don't even think he's seen. It was like shots like through crowds, and they were
Yeah,
picked, corners picked. Like these weren't cheap shots. Like these were snipes. So it can't really fall on him. So they need to fucking look around the room here and figure this shit out because like you're playing in front of a home crowd. Some of you, well, there's probably a few of you, at least one or two maybe that are gonna play in the NHL next year, probably, right?
yeah,
And it's like we're underperforming big time here, guys. And the whole country's watching us. Like,
yeah.
should
There's
that
nothing
not
else
light a
going
fire
on.
under your ass here?
Yeah, they need to figure it out. January, like the medal rounds, they need to figure it out. Otherwise, it's gonna get ugly, right?
Whoever
And it
picks this
seems
team
like,
should be canned.
yeah, like it
Sorry.
seems like whenever we've had these teams that lose in like the quarterfinals, we just like flush it and like we don't care about it more so than if a team makes it to like the semis and then loses like late in the
Mhm.
third and then loses again in the bronze medal game. You know what I mean? Like it's it
So
I don't know. Like I don't know if that team deserves that kind
if
of
if you're
route,
if you're Canada's coach and you're going into this game against the Czechs, what are you
Yeah.
saying to them in the room?
You got to find a way. I don't know, watch extra film. I don't know if extra, practice per se is going to help them. They got to figure it out between the years
Mhm. First thing
more
I'm
so than
saying
anything. And I
is,
know that's coach speak, but like,
yeah,
I don't know what small intangible thing that they can tune into that's going to give them
mhm.
that kind of killer edge kind of thing. They just need it seems like they need leadership.
They need to play Canada hockey.
Yeah.
Get the pucks in deep, fucking hammer them.
Yeah.
Finish your hits, wear them down. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like stuff like that. They need to just
They looked
stay out of the penalty box. That's
yeah.
probably another good one.
They
Um,
looked good against Finland and Germany, right? In those shutout games, of
yeah,
course, right?
yeah, yeah.
And like, and they looked okay in spots in the games against Latvia and the US, but the
Mhm.
sustained level of play just wasn't there overall, right? And that's why they're third in the group instead of first.
There was
So,
no intensity.
no,
Nothing. I wish they could
that's what I
fight.
mean. They need
I wish they
leadership.
could fight. Like even just like even just one,
That would
because
be fun.
then it would just be a spark, like just a
It just
little
seems like
spark.
it just seems like the World Juniors doesn't have that flair anymore. Like there's no like I don't know. It just seems like when the guys, like when PK Subban and those guys like Eberle and those teams were playing, it just seemed like
Mhm.
the tournament had panache. Like it seems like now like people like looking forward to the tournament, and then like after the group stage, it's like okay, like what
Yeah,
now kind of a thing. Like I don't know. I feel like it gets like put on the back burner, and then people go like, oh yeah, like that tournament's still going on. Like
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
crazy.
what they need to do to make it more. I know that there's obviously a center of people that are like diehard fans, and obviously they're going to watch it. But I feel
Yeah,
like the core number of people that have been doing that has dropped dramatically.
yeah, I agree.
So I don't know, and I don't know what if it's more people are happier just watching their OHL teams play, right? Or like like their local teams, like whatever league they're playing in. Like I don't know if the international game has as much like I said, like flair to it. Like if there's
Yeah,
is there any meaning to it? Like do people
yeah.
care if we win the gold medal anymore? I don't know. I haven't heard one person talk about Team Canada during the Christmas break.
Maybe it's because there's no Winds or Spitfires on the team.
That's a huge factor for us too, right down here, obviously. If Green Tree was playing, we would be
It would be locked in on more.
but you know what? If he's not going to get, and he did play internationally last year and for Team Canada during the summer and stuff, and he didn't perform very well. So
Hmm.
like I understand why they wouldn't put him on the team this year, but better for him anyway because his team's 3-0 on
Yeah.
he got a break, he got a nice Christmas break. His team came back and they've won 3 games since. And I feel like, it's better for him to have a better OH. Like he gains nothing from playing international.
Yeah. He had a
He's
hell of
already
a game
drafted.
yesterday.
That's what I mean, right? And he's helping the Spits. He's the undisputed leader of the Spits. Gets a
Yeah.
Gordie Howe hat trick,
Yeah.
and Windsor's 3-0 since the Christmas break. They're 20-point leaders in the division, Anthony. They
Not a
have
big deal.
in the division. So that number 2 seed essentially is already wrapped up, right? They would have to lose 5, 6, 7 games in a row for them to be, or, seven out
Yeah.
of,
No,
whatever.
no
Someone
way
would
that's
have to go on a
happening.
big run to catch them
No way.
down the stretch here. And I don't think that's going to happen. But so essentially the number 2 seed is, kind of the low bar of where their
Mhm.
potential is, right?
Yeah.
And now it's all about beating teams who are playoff caliber teams and like kind of playing the right way. Do you think, am I in the right vein there, do you think?
Oh, 100%, I think you are. It's all about just maintaining now. Just maintain, let's keep the injuries low
Yeah.
and everything going into the playoffs. Rest guys accordingly too, right? Um, yeah, now you just have to maintain. When you have that much of a lead now, you know, I
Yeah,
would say that's going to be the hardest part is keeping everybody healthy going into
I
the
agree.
playoffs.
So just for a quick recap for people, so as of this recording, we're doing this on, January 1st,
Yeah.
right? And the Spitfires are first in their division, right? In the West Division, but overall in the conference, they are number 2 behind London, who's winning the other
Oh,
division.
wagon.
Uh yeah, they're great. They're a fantastic team. So London is 29-6. They've played 35 games, right? Windsor is 26-7. They've played 36 games. And Kitchener is 25-7. So they're 2 points behind Windsor and they've played 35 games, right?
Yeah.
So Windsor has a game in hand, or whatever. I forget how the term goes, but
Hmm.
um, so essentially at the top of that conference there. And then the next best team is Erie with 40 points. And
Who we're
then,
going to see Saturday night.
yes, exactly. So I feel like Windsor's got to play Guelph on Thursday at home, and then they're going to go on the road to play Erie, and that's always a tough place to play.
Mhm.
I was talking to J.R. Grant about it over Christmas. That they just the Erie trip in general is just a tough trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to play. It's hard to win there for some reason. They just always seem to have Windsor's number in that barn. Um, but they for a team that's going to be, right now Erie's slotted as number 4 in the conference. Like you eventually you need to take care of that team, right?
Mhm.
So you need to play well against the team. You can't just beat up on the bottom most in Eastern Conference teams, right? Because
Yeah.
those teams don't matter. You're going to have to play really well against Erie, Saginaw, Flint, Sarnia, and the Sioux, right? And they just beat Sioux 2 games straight up there, which is great. Jake Winbeal got his first win as an OHL goaltender. Great. He played down in Junior B a
Yeah.
bunch this year. Gets his first start and he wins. Great for him. It was 10-6. He let in some goals in the third period, whatever. They don't ask you how many about your first win. They just ask you about, did you get your first win? They said,
Yeah.
yeah. So good for him, whatever. Looked like Sault Ste. Marie was still on Christmas break in that
Yeah.
game, but
Oh,
whatever. Um, I don't know. I feel like this team has I like you said, like the important thing for this team right now is to maintain.
yeah, oh,
And like
absolutely.
it feels like it's going to be not a long stretch. Well, I guess it's a long stretch from now to the end of the regular season, right? It's the end of March.
Yeah.
Um, that they're playing. I think it's early April
Mhm.
that the regular season ends.
And the one thing too that we've been really keeping a huge eye on this year because one of the things was we've talked about it several times was the goals for and against for Windsor. Okay, so Windsor has 158 goals for, and they only have 103 against. They're plus 55 in that
It
category, which I believe may lead the entire um way. Oh,
the
like
plus minus, yeah, that's a
the
huge
plus
stat. Like
minus is, but see what I mean? What did he say? Coach, like, right at the start of the year, he's like, "We're hammering our goals against. We're getting that down. I want it cut in half." He's pretty freaking close. Like
Yeah.
he's right on par to he's done exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah. And this
Was
team has definitely responded to his leadership
this team
style.
plays hard hockey.
Yeah.
They win those, they mind you, they blow teams out, but they win those games 4-3, 2-1, 1-0. We've seen a couple.
Yeah.
They just play those hard, gritty games now. Now they can play any style of game. If they're like fucking hybrid almost. They could play that sweet style where there's lots of nice goals. They can play that, gritty 4-3 game where there's five fights too. Like they can,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, whatever style.
I think a perfect example of what you're talking about is the game that they played on New Year's Eve against Flint. They go up 5-0. They end up having to win 6-4. Like they're talented enough that they can play well for a 20-minute, 25-minute stretch or whatever, and then close it out at the end of it. Like they're talented enough where they don't have to play great for
Yeah.
60 minutes to win, which is kind of, I don't know if that's a good thing or not,
Yeah,
right?
well, especially when you score five in the first and then you end up coughing up three in the third while you don't score any.
It's
Not
tough,
good.
right? No, it's not, right? Like especially to a team like Flint, you need to take care of
Don't
that.
get into
But
that
Flint is a
habit.
feisty team, right? Like all these OHL teams, like they've got dudes that can play, right? They've got like guys that can, if you turn it over and you give them a shot in the slot, they might go bar down, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was tough. So
So is there a chance for us to be playing like Erie, Saginaw, or Flint when we go into the, I'm sure you already know what I'm like getting at with this. So there's a
yeah,
chance that you guys could see us a lot coming up if they play one of those teams, right?
for sure. Yeah, there's some potential, and some people may like it, some people may not that we get more games up on that schedule, but um. right now, the teams in the States who we would be coming in to cover for year TV would be Erie, Saginaw, and Flint. And right
Mhm.
now they're ranked 4, 5, 6. And Sarnia is number 7 and Sault Ste. Marie is number 8. The only team that I could see that could make a jump, like Sarnia's already played 38 games and they only have 31 points. Like they've played
Yeah.
more games than anybody else. Like the odds are that Sault Ste. Marie, pardon me, would jump ahead of Sarnia and maybe jump ahead of either Flint or maybe Saginaw if they fall off or
So,
whoever, right? Because they're right, those two like Saginaw and Flint are really close in points. Like
mhm.
so if because Windsor is not essentially locked in at number 2, because they have such a big gap in the division with 20 points right now that like the number 2 should kind of be um like the low point of where you want them to finish this year. Like say they
Yeah.
don't beat London in the points race at the end of the year. At least if you win the division, you're at least the number 2, and you'll be the home team in
Hmm.
2 series should you
Yeah.
get to those 2 series, right?
Okay. Yeah.
um at the bottom of the conference, it's probably going to be about who is going to be left on those teams right after the trade deadline. Who's going to like wholesale? Like I could see Saginaw, they could get rid of a bunch of those players on that team and, maybe fall down to 6, 7. And
Hmm.
maybe we would see Saginaw in the first round. Maybe they would fall. Maybe Saginaw falls down to number 8. Flint's at 7, and Sault Ste. Marie goes up to 6. I don't know. Things like that could happen, right? Depends on who gets dealt. Like if Sault, I am 100% expecting Andrew Gibson from LaSalle to get traded from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds as soon as he gets back from the World Juniors, right? Because the trade deadline is January 10th.
Hmm.
Where he goes is the question, right? Because he serves no purpose playing on that team any longer.
Is Windsor a possibility?
I mean, any team's a possibility, but that would be the most preferred destination for him, I would assume, right? Considering that he lives in LaSalle.
Yeah.
I believe it's LaSalle. So I don't know. Yeah,
It never
it's
hurts to have defense.
No, it never. Well, exactly. And if you were going to make a move for Windsor, it'd probably be, maybe somewhere on the third line, third or fourth line, or a defenseman. So,
I'm gonna get him on this show.
oh, eventually, like, and
Yeah.
I've met a couple of people who have said, like, oh, I know this person who knows him, like, kind of thing. And I've heard that he's very nice kid, like, well adjusted, like, not, like a really nice, like, not
Best
a,
stash in the O too.
yeah, exactly. I've heard
Good for
he's a
him.
very nice kid. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different possibilities. Do I think that one? I think that Erie's going to stay at four. It just depends on if Saginaw or Flint,
Hmm.
if they fall down to number seven, then that's where I think that we would end up.
Yeah.
Um, just based on average, like I'm just saying that as like the low that Windsor, the low that Windsor would finish this year is number two based on how they're doing right now.
Hmm.
But do I think that they could go on a run and knock off London a couple times this year to maybe sneak in as the one seed? I definitely do. And then it really wouldn't matter
Yeah.
who's in at the eight
Yeah.
seed, really, right? So, the short answer to your question is possibly. The long
Yeah.
answer is everything that I just said before
Yeah.
that.
So we'll see.
So we will see, as you said. The main question kind of, but is the main question is if Windsor's going to make a move. Like, they haven't dressed the. I don't think Tanner Weingart has played in about a month or so. So I think that he is definitely going to be part of some trade. Whatever trade, if they do make a trade, he will be part of it, and maybe some picks
Hmm.
for a defenseman, maybe a young kid. Maybe down on the farm, or maybe one of the rookies goes, or maybe I don't know, somebody that plays on the third or fourth line goes, because I don't think that anybody on the top six is going to get dealt from
No.
Windsor.
God
So
no.
no, if anything, like I said, they would maybe try and make an improvement on the third or fourth line, and maybe like their second. I don't know, maybe get a top defenseman. I don't know, but
Yeah.
um, either way, I think they'll make some move. I think they'll maybe make one move to help this team because they're pretty set right now. And as good as this team is right now, they could potentially be even better next year.
Yeah. Can't
So, so
can't
like Bill
wait.
Bowler has time on his side too. He has the 16-year-olds. He has, a bunch of 07s in
Hmm.
LaSalle and a couple of 08s as well
Yeah.
that he could bring in too. So, because I think I was looking at the LaSalle roster the other day, like thinking about, who could maybe be on this Spitz team next year or, 2 years from now. And there's a group there that, that could maybe make a challenge next year. And I think there's a couple there that have some high-end talent that could make some moves. So who knows? Yeah,
Sure.
if he didn't make any moves at all, I would understand based on what they have coming up, right?
Yeah.
But I could also see him doing one or two moves. Maybe max two, probably at least one. And that might be already be in the works right now. I haven't heard anything, but that there might be something in the works.
We want Gibby.
I mean, it would be a good move for the franchise if you could move him, if you could get him for not that much, a couple of picks and maybe a defenseman.
Ship him.
Not for me to say, but that would be a popular move in my book,
For sure.
right? Because like because because you don't make a move at goalie because you're good there. You got the best goalie arguably in the CHL
Hmm.
with Joey, who's got 21 wins, maybe 22 now after last night, 22. And backup is fine. Carter Froggatt goes down. I went to the game in London a couple weeks ago before the break with my dad and a couple of his friends. Good time. Carter Froggatt goes down in the first period where we weren't even in our seats yet, and he was already out of the game. So his long term is undecided, right? So from what I've heard, it's day to day, week to week kind of thing. They're not going to rush him back. But Windsor went to their two other backups, right? They called in Michael Newlove to back up Joey on the first game in Sault Ste. Marie, and then they called up Jake Windmill to come in and start on Sunday. So
Yeah.
they've got some depth there. So I don't think they won't yeah, it's not even a question that they'll make a move at goalie unless someone tears a knee or something like
Yeah.
tomorrow. I don't want to like put that out there, but like I don't think anything will happen at that position. So I think they're pretty limited in what they're going to do, but I think they are going to do one or two things.
Yeah. Well, only
And I
time will
think that
tell.
would be fair, and I think that it would be fair for them to at least at least kick the tires on something, right?
Oh,
Like
absolutely. Shake it
for
up.
for sure. And Windsor's got players and picks in the cupboard now. So like a lot of people could be asking to say, hey, maybe they're looking at Windsor's, team, like farm teams and whatever other players and other systems, and saying, hey, like I see this guy still down there. I want him on my team next year. Can we put him in a deal for with picks and other, like, so you don't
Mhm.
know where these trades are going to get generated from, or who's going to be, the centerpiece to it. So I love seeing the wait and see game and then analyzing after because it's fun.
Mhm.
I hate guessing, but if I was to guess one, maybe at least one move.
I like it. Hopefully it's on
Yeah.
the blue line. Like I said, it just tightens it up a little more.
Yeah, and like you hate to see players go, but it's the name of the game, right? Like
Mhm.
if they were gonna make a move, it would probably be on the D line to make it a little bit stronger because they do want those goals down. So whoever is available, I wouldn't be surprised if they went and got, another a D person that we have no idea about, right? So there's a lot of different players out there that could fit that mold for them. So who knows? I think that they've been um really resourceful on D because sometimes they're dressing 7D and they're dressing a number of them that they can rotate them in and get them more
Mhm.
shifts and stuff. But we'll see what they do if they can get someone that's not going to be, you
Nine
know,
days.
a rotational healthy scratch, right?
Yeah,
So
for shizzle.
for shizzle my nizzle. So junior hockey shizzle,
Yeah.
junior ABC, they start back up on
The
January
S.
3rd.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the Essex 73s. They've got a 6 point lead in the division now, I believe, after Lakeshore lost a couple of games right before the Christmas break.
Hmm.
And it definitely makes things interesting going down the stretch, my friend, which, playoffs are not too far away.
No, but just steady. Just maintain day by day, game by game. Essex does fire back up on Friday. They are in Lakeshore, I believe.
Yep,
So it's as everybody knows, it's always a good time when Essex and Lakeshore get together. Yeah, like I'm not gonna sit here and whatever. It's Lakeshore lost a few games. I'll still never count them out ever. So to
for
me,
sure.
to me, they're still right with us, right?
For
So,
sure.
um, yeah,
Lakeshore has played two extra games, so
yeah,
Essex has a 4 point lead right now, but they have two games in hand. So
yeah,
that will be a factor in just how the standings are kind of skewed for the next little while until that levels out.
yeah,
But I would be a dummy if I did not say that this game on Friday is absolutely massive because of the season series. It's at 2-2
yeah,
between these teams. This will be game five. And, after the Christmas break, maybe a couple of different kids on each roster afterwards, right? Or different alignment and such. Huge game in the PJHL to
yeah.
kick things off.
I expect it to be a packed house, considering I think it's the first game back after the break for both teams.
Yes,
So both teams have got some rest. Both teams have anybody that was kind of like nicked up or anything like that is probably healed now. So you're probably going to see both teams almost at 100% um going at it. So it's like I said, it's always great.
for sure. Great barn too, because that's at Lake Shore. Nice
Nice and
drive out to
bright.
the. Yeah, for sure. What are you doing? You coming to pick me up? You gonna come into Windsor and then take me to Lakeshore to go to the game, or
Yeah. Not that I haven't done that before, but we'll see. We'll
yeah?
see.
Well, the Friday night, we don't go back to work until the January 6th. Maybe we'll make a date of it.
Yeah, possible. And we, like you said, we have the Windsor game too on the 4th. We're on the air as well against Flint, I believe. No, Erie, sorry, Erie.
Erie, yeah. We've
Yeah.
got Erie. Stan Butler's team, the Erie Otters. They've got 40
Loser.
points in the conference right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so back to junior C. Yeah. So we're coming back off the break. So I believe, so not only, so we play in Lakeshore on Friday, which I believe it is a 7 o'clock puck drop, I want to say. Yes, it is 7 o'clock puck drop. And then the following day on the 4th, so Saturday, we are in Walpole, and that's a 4 o'clock game.
Ooh,
So
tight
on
turnaround.
on the 4th, yes. And then we are back at home Tuesday the 7th. We're back at home is where we're gonna welcome in the Amherstburg Admirals in
The red hot
on
Amherstburg
yeah.
Admirals.
So yeah, they're playing some good hockey. So some good games coming up right off the break. I like it.
Yeah, and like when I talk about how like the end of the regular season is coming up, like we've got it's the first today. You've got 6 weeks. 6 weeks to make a move. To make a move if you're in hey, if you're at Amherstburg and you want to move yourself up into that 3, 4, 5
Yeah.
range, right? You're right there. You're competing with some of the best teams. You're winning these games,
Yeah.
these close games.
I
You're
expect
getting great
them
defensive
to make a
performances.
push.
Like if you're Moortown, hey, if you want to stay number three, you got to sustain. You got to
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
well. You got to defend home ice. Like if you're Wheatley, if you want to move up, if you want to stay in number four, like you got to I want to see these teams doing well. Hey, you know what? I'm impressed with Dresden and Walpole too. They pulled off big wins over Lakeshore
Yes, they
before
did.
Christmas break too. So like there's this division is wide open, and if you can play consistent hockey in this division, you can make a
Mm.
move, and you can make momentum is a huge thing in hockey. And
Yeah.
if you can, play the right way for the next 6 weeks, if you can buy in to what coach is saying, if you can buy in to what your line mates are doing, if you can buy in to, the defensive, systems that you're playing in front of a solid goalie, like
Let
you can
me tell you
that
something. So
teams.
there's when it comes to the West for Essex. So Essex is in first, they have 48. Lakeshore is in second, they have 44 points. So listen to this between third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, which is Wheatley, Moortown, Amherstburg, and Blenheim. Only 3 points separate those four teams.
Holy cow.
So Wheatley has 31, Moortown has 30, Amherstburg has 29, and the Blades have 28. So literally 2 wins can put you from sixth to third.
Huge. And you know what? In,
Two
in in a
wins.
in a 7 game series in those first rounds, man,
That's what I mean.
having those decisive games on your home ice is the biggest difference in the world, right?
So the middle of the pack there is like
It's wide
super
open.
tight, super tight.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it down the stretch, man. It's gonna be good.
For sure. Our LaSalle Vipers are getting underway as well as our Leamington Flyers. Lakeshore, I mean LaSalle is right near the top of the Western Conference there. There's a bunch of teams that are really close in that division. Leamington is tops in the Western Conference in the
Okay.
OJHL. Uh what can we say, man? Like they've been very, very good. And I can't wait to see. They've got Collingwood coming into their barn
Mhm.
this coming week. So I believe from what I read on a social media post that Leamington has 7 home games in January. So if you want
Mhm.
to go check out the Leamington Flyers, make sure you get all the way down on the number 3 highway and
Yeah.
check out.
Everybody too, sit back and just look right now. Think across all levels.
Yeah.
And okay, so you're talking your junior A, B, C, and then the OHL team, okay? Think about how good the teams are in this area.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at Leamington, look at Essex, look at Lakeshore, look at the Spits, like, look at across just all levels, like Amherstburg on the way up, like, just all these
LaSalle's number
teams.
2 in the Western
That's
Conference
what
in
I
the G,
mean.
right?
LaSalle, like, hockey in Essex County is very, very strong. Like, I think this might be the strongest it's ever been.
You know what? Especially at each level too, like having the consistency that they've had. Like I think you're right. I don't think that all of these teams have been this good all at the same time before.
Yeah. Like, it's
And it speaks
so
to the
people,
level
when
of
you have some
coaching and organization.
time,
Yeah.
when you have some time, start hitting some of these teams, man. Start hitting some of these games. There's good hockey here, and you're maybe a half an hour drive at max to a
From
game. So
12 different teams.
yeah, so check them out. I'm telling you, I've been bopping around a little bit with games, so it's
Um, bef Yeah, I agree. You got to spread the love. I was gonna say, tell us about. Yeah, we'll wrap up the show in a little bit. Tell us
Yeah,
about your experience with the Hockey for Hospice tournament with Ethan,
yeah.
and we can talk about the good thing that comes from that tournament, and then we
Mhm.
can preview what's going on this week, and then we'll go bye bye.
Yep. So I want to give a shout out to Matt Hannon is the one that runs pretty much it all. So he runs it all. They put on a good thing. So we played 3 games on Friday. We played at like a 11:30 game, a 2:30 game, and a 7:30 game. So what this does is the kids all raise funds. For every kid that raises over, I think $300, you get like a water bottle, a hoodie, a puck, like stuff like that.
Bunch of swag.
A
Yep.
bunch of swag, yeah. So our team ended up placing like out of our division, I think we raised the most money for like as a squad.
Yep.
I think it was like almost 4 grand, I think, just our
Wow.
team alone. All the kids Ethan's age, I think they raised it was like over $40,000.
Wow.
Just Ethan's age group. They did really good. And as everybody knows, it's for I believe there's a hospice in Leamington and there's a hospice in Windsor as well. There's two.
Yes.
And this just goes to help make these families
Oh,
comfortable. So like
yes.
it helps with their meals, it gives them a place to stay. When they have a loved one that is sick and just it's not getting better, obviously. So this just helps all of these families in need, just like keeps them comfortable to where it's not going to take money out of their pocket to
Yeah,
be with their like loved ones and stuff when they need them the most. So
for sure.
it's a great tournament. It's a huge tournament. I think in total they've raised now like over $5.5 million or something in
Yep.
total. Did I hit all the points pretty well, pretty good?
You did pretty good. The only reason why I know a little bit more about this is because I used to referee this tournament all
There you
growing up.
go.
And a couple years ago, me and Dave Reno, my former producer from your TV, who passed away last year, we
Mhm.
did a story about the Hockey for Hospice tournament for an OHL feature,
Yeah,
and we talked about because it's guys that I grew up with. Their family and some groups in Amherstburg, they started it, and I believe Matt might it's the Bolio family and the Petrasco family, and obviously I'm sure they've coordinated with other people
yeah.
over the years.
It's a
Um,
group for sure.
it's a group effort, yeah, but I know
Yeah,
it started back then, and we used to, oh my God, we used to just be going crazy during the Christmas break doing referee and clock and everything like at all these different arenas, and
yeah,
it was always a great thing. And a couple years ago when we did the feature, I think they had just gotten over 3 million, which I think was a couple years ago,
yeah,
and just the fact that this tournament for 2 decades now has generated this much funds for and it stays in the area. They have guaranteed me this money stays. It does
yeah,
not go anywhere else. It goes to the hospices in Windsor Essex County. All the funds, like
yeah,
everybody, like it's not, there's nobody skimming. It's top of the line. This is charity. Like in
mhm,
the name and in the name of all that is good and holy, this is about charity for people. Hospice care. We all know somebody that's been in hospice care, right? End of life care for
yeah.
people who don't know what hospices go through, right? End of life, right? And it's a big thing, and it's
They're
and it
they're up
costs a
to
lot of
like
money.
114 teams or something now.
Yeah, and it keeps getting bigger every year. So if you it from I'm gonna endorse it right now. If you ever have any time during the Christmas break and you got some time to volunteer, please go and volunteer for Hockey for Hospice. If
Yes.
I had a spare minute, with my if I had a spare minute, I would. But I've done I've spent my time with that tournament, and I look forward to one day. I know I have a little boy, I have a little girl. Look forward to one day having them play in it one day. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. It'd be a nice
Ethan.
full circle moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah. This was his second year. He loves it. Every year we look forward to it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. So definitely everybody, it's a great cause.
Do you have one specific moment or like funny moment from the tournament that you remember? And then we'll close the show with that.
Well, this is only my second year there, but it's always funny watching all the, the like little kids play. Mind you, there's some kids who can wheel. Like,
Yes.
there's one kid who was toe dragging, skating backwards with the puck. I'm like, are you serious right now? Kids have got better hands than me. But but yeah, there's some kids, but it's funny watching them fall all over each other and stuff like that. Mind you, there you see some beauty scored too with some of these kids. Like some of these
For
kids,
sure.
they're not slouches. We only do the half ice right now. I can't wait until we do the full ice. We
Yeah.
do full ice, I believe, November next year. We start or December next year. Well, this year now, but
Yeah.
we start doing full ice. I can't wait.
That's fun.
Because
Yeah.
half ice, you're like sharing benches and shit. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But given the skill level, right, it's appropriate for the time.
Yeah,
So
of
yeah.
course. Of
Yeah.
course, yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, it's super fun. They give the kids time on the soccer field running around, going crazy too. Every team gets an hour.
Yeah.
The the indoor soccer field there.
Yeah.
Because we're always in Amherstburg. But yeah, man, it's good. I like it.
Awesome. Good. Is there anything else that you want to say before we close out the show? Anything you want to tell the beautiful people? Nice setup. I like the new digs, new
Yeah,
house.
it's not
You know,
bad.
some people don't like change, but I think you've brought a lot of things back from the old studio.
Yeah, I did. I bought that sign by the Christmas tree that I can't point to the right way.
Yes,
Um,
for our video audience, he's just
but yeah, the Winter Classic too. We just had St. Louis. It was what 4 or 5-1 win or something. Captains were it was funny. Ceremonial face off. They're all nice to each other, shaking hands, and then about halfway through the second period, they duked it out at center ice, both captains. So that was pretty good too. But yeah, Connor was pretty quiet. Shout out Cam Fowler scored 2 goals. That Winter Classic game was his 1,000th NHL game as well.
oh,
So,
sick.
and he scored 2 goals in that. So shout out to him as well. So, another
Former
guy
Windsor
joins a
Spitfire
thousand.
Memorial Cup champ.
Yeah, another guy gets to 1,000 games.
Sick.
It's beautiful to see, buddy. But
For
other than
sure.
that, yeah, do we have anything coming up? Not really. It's like we had said earlier in the show, we're gonna work on getting some more shows out for you guys. It was been a little crazy the past month or so, but things are calming down, so we should be able to be a little more consistent when it comes to our episodes. And it kind of froze like Brett's like picking his nose right now. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so we're gonna work on getting some more shows out and everything. Once the sim gets set up, we'll get some more content out. Welcome back, Brett.
My
I was there
computer
just
died. I'm sorry.
rambling on to myself as Brett's laptop died. It's kind of felt like we were back on the air again. That we're just talking to ourselves.
Just talking to
So
each
welcome
other.
back. But yeah, so as I was saying before Brett's laptop died, we're gonna just get out more stuff for you guys. We need to get more stuff out. So
Yep.
that's the plan for 2025.
Yeah, for sure. It's taking us a while to get, get me set up on the tech side of things. So, we can streamline shows and kind of that stuff. The plan is, to try and have something every week. So, we're going to try and keep it consistent to that. And
Hmm.
we're going to try and, keep you guys informed of what's going on in junior hockey because some people don't have the resources we do to talk about this stuff. So
Yeah.
it's our job to let them know that people must be entertained.
Yes, and we will do it.
We will for sure. From all of us here at Hat Trick Hockey, thanks for tuning in. For Zoe and Ethan in the corner, that's Ant Goddad, the creator of HTH, joining us in his new digs. Congrats, Ant, Steph, and everybody involved. That's it, and it's an excellent stuff. So can't wait to do more stuff in the future. I am your host, Brett Hedges. From all of us at the rest of the HTH family, thank you for tuning in. Have a great 2025, and we will see you next time on the Hat Trick Hockey Podcast. Good night.
I've lost my